Core stability is the most fundamental stage. It's the one that you build everything else on top of. Now, core stability, or first of all stability, requires control, smoothness of movement, and alignment for muscles to be able to work correctly. So one way that we can understand core stability is if we come down onto all fours and we go out into what's called a bird dog. So we go out into that position. Now, if we've got smoothness of movement, if we've got control, and if we've got good alignment, we can see that that's good core strength, good core stability. If, for example, we come into this position and we're a little bit like all over the place and we're not quite balanced well, then that tells us our core stability needs to be worked on. So we need to build that. We can still build other parts to it, but this needs to be the main focus. So when we talk about parts 2, 3 and 4, you can certainly build part 2 with part 1, so core endurance with core stability. But what we need to be able to do is we need to get core stability first before we can build the other 3 stages. So for someone like me, if I go knees together, hands together, this now is a little bit more. You can see now I'm a little bit wobbly. I'm not quite moving as smoothly, and you can see that my hand and my leg didn't go down at the same time. So again, I'm sort of coming up a little bit more tentative because my stability isn't quite there, and you can see that I'm wobbling now that I'm narrow. When I'm wide, I'm nice and stable. So we need to come to that understanding first, and we need to build that first. Obviously, the bird dog is just one exercise that will build our core stability. If you've got any questions about core stability that I've said something, didn't quite understand what it meant, or you want me to elaborate on anything, stick it down in the comment section below. But essentially, we need to build core stability first, or that at least needs to be our first goal. We need to be able to test it. We need to then be able to measure it. We then need to be able to build it and then retest and remeasure. So that is part number 1, is build core stability. Part number 2, core endurance. Core endurance is kind of what it says on the tin. We know endurance is to go for a long time. This is what we want our muscles to be able to do, is we need to be able for them to go for a long time. Now, as I mentioned, you can build core stability and core endurance sort of at the same time. But you first want to get core stability nailed. You want to get smoothness of movement, you want control, and you want good alignment. You can build core endurance alongside, but the main goal should be that first. So let's just say we've got now good core stability. We've built that. What we then need to be able to do is build endurance. And essentially, endurance is your ability to perform an exercise and resist fatigue. So you can do it for a long time. Obviously, very simple exercises is the plank and the side plank and the bridge. And in some respects, you can add in the bird dog as well, because if you can hold that for longer in a controlled way, then you're going to be building endurance and muscle. So we come down into position and we hold. Now, we can start on the knees, build up the endurance to be able to come up onto the feet, and then we can hold this for a long period of time. So that would be building our endurance through the anterior part of the body. Then we would have building endurance through the lateral part of the body. Again, we need good alignment. So if we start dropping, our muscles don't have the endurance to hold the proper position. So they don't have the stability to stay there, and they don't have the endurance to stay there. So what we need to be able to do is hold that position for a prolonged period of time. So we've got the stability to get there, and we've got the endurance to stay there. So we're holding that nice and strong. Obviously, then we would do one side and then we would do the other. If you want to watch more tutorials like this, please do just hit the subscribe button and the bell icon, and you'll be sent more like this. I've got loads of videos on core strength, core stability, core endurance, and core speed strength, what we're talking about here. But hit that subscribe button and you'll get notified when I release more. Now, with regards to posterior, very simply, we would come into bird dog, up, again, glute squeeze, and hold. We could then progress that, single leg, glute squeeze and hold, glute squeeze and hold. Again, if we bring stability into the bridge, what we would do, so we've got this position, we're up, but what we can now do to make sure we've got the stability, we lift a leg, we place it down, we maintain position of the hips, because what you may find is you get a hip drop or it rolls and it drops. But essentially, the hips should stay level. So if the hips come up, you lift the leg and they stay level, you've got the stability. If you can hold it for a long time, you've got the endurance. So what we can then start to do is start building core strength on top of stability and endurance. And if you want to build your core strength and stability, what you can do is you can click the link in the description. You'll go through to my How to Build Core Strength and Stability, a 12-week online program, which goes through exercises like this. It builds stability first. We work on endurance at the same time. We build into strength, and then we build into speed strength, which we're going to talk about in part number 4. But essentially,